Hello, we're live, and with a long legal update. Oh! What happened there? Technical error. But anyway, yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah, there's been a bit of a update in the Lorne world. So some of you, there's nothing revolutionary. Let's be honest. Well, is there anything revolutionary in Lorne? Well, what would be revolutionary is if Lorne got took off the RSO. God, wouldn't that be? I was just going to say, wouldn't that be amazing? No, of course, I don't mean wouldn't that be amazing in terms of people's safety, but good God, we'd have stuff to talk about, wouldn't we? But anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah, there's been, as I understand it, I may with Shin and Tiffany as well. So, as I understand it, right, Lorne has tried again to get off probation. Shin, do you just want to give us a quick
Well, no,
synopsis?
he's trying to get there. He has requested a public attorney again, a public defender, to how did he put it? To evaluate the status of his probation. So it's the same thing he did before, and he requested the same lawyer. I can't remember his name, but are you going to put the documents up?
I am. If you give me a second, I'm still getting used to my new device, so I hope this works. That's going to be my excuse now if something fucks up. I'm getting used to a new device. So,
Hello.
oh,
I got a question
yeah,
pending.
yeah,
That's all I
sorry.
know.
I was on mute. I was talking away on mute. My new device and equipment hasn't saved me from the odd gaff. I can't blame Shin for that one. Like saying, turn your volume up, turn your volume up. I'm frantically searching around to try and turn the volume up. Oh, sorry, it was low at my end. So thanks for that, dude.
No problem. No problem. But the question still remains, though. Are you going to put the documents, or did you? Oh, yeah, there you go. There we go. Okay. Ah, you were busy doing it. Gotcha. Yeah, he asked for the same attorney again, and this was done on a few weeks ago.
Let's see, 10th of January, and the document was stamped on the 13th. Is that
13th,
25 Jan
yeah.
13?
Looks like he's got a decent word processor now, a printer. Okay, so everybody thinks, or Lawrence seems to have the impression that you can go ahead and just ask for a public defender to keep reviewing your case every few years, and it's been a matter of course for him up to this point, right? I mean, he's got every time he's asked for a public defender, he's gotten one. So we figured, we're going to see a brief soon. We're going to go through that. The motions of that again, where he gets to explain his change of status and all that stuff. Yeah, we all wanted that, right?
Can I just make a bit of an observation about the first sentence of his, apart from the dear clerk of court, which is a strange way of putting it. My name is Lorne Armstrong. Well, don't you sort of identify yourself at the end of the letter and say thank you, signed Lorne Armstrong. My name is Lorne
Yes.
Armstrong. Sincerely, Lorne Armstrong. I also wish to remain anonymous.
Right.
Why would you say? It just seems like that is strange way of writing. It's like the first sentence is fucked up. Plus, what a bizarre thing. What an embarrassing thing to say as well. If you have to identify yourself as him. Plus, he's not put his middle name in as well. I get the impression he might be a little embarrassed about Lynn. What do you think?
Absolutely he is, yeah. But it would have been funny too if in parentheses he had to put his AKA and then put his screen name because that's how he's identified in the case.
Or his prison number, or is like that stupid number that he held up. Because you'll have a prison number and then the number that he held up when he was in, whether it's the same one, whether he's in court. Sorry, when he got busted. So you got the prison number, his screen name, that arrest number, and all kinds of, yeah, it would be funny. AKA, my name is Lorne Armstrong. I'm on federal supervised release. I want to ask for assistance from counsel to be appointed to review the status of my supervised release. I am requesting Attorney James Nixon. Now, why is he doing this? What is he trying to do? I know that might sound like a stupid question, but let's go from the beginning here. What's he trying to accomplish by doing this?
Well, he's trying to get off of probation, obviously.
But why does he think? I mean, there's probably no sane answer to this or no reasonable answer. Why does he think, after numerous previous attempts, that this attempt will be any different? What is he trying to do?
I
I
think
could
it's
guess.
because in the judge's order last time, which was only about 6 months ago, that he said you could try again sometime in the future.
Right.
He's
That's
So he
where I was
said,
going to
all
go.
right,
not left it long,
just
has
in the
he?
future.
Right.
No, it is very strange that he's doing it so quickly.
Yeah, you got to remember, it doesn't take much to encourage Lorne, right? To hear, to do something he wants, that he wants to do, and hear something that he doesn't, that he misinterprets to justify it. You know, it's just the way he is, and he just has this expectation now that, you know, and he hears these stories also. You know, people usually get off lifetime after 10 years or after these. This is all true, by the way. A lot of people do end up getting terminated after 10 years. But he's a total special case. So he thinks that it's a matter, it's just like he thinks quantity is important in everything. He thinks the quantity of time he has put into this already, not the quality of it, but the quantity is enough to justify getting off probation because he participated. That's all.
So let me just clarify something. If he'll never be able to get off RSO status. His probation is a completely separate entity to that, isn't it? If he's off
Correct.
probation, what will that mean for his life? He'll obviously still have to register as an RSO. He's still highly monitored. I don't think I can't conceive of any way that he could get off RSO unless God
No,
fucking.
there's two ways: active legislature or a judge's order. And usually, you know, that's part of the sentence. You know, you have to go back and revise and revoke the whole thing, but it's nearly impossible to get there. You know, it would, and there aren't many legislatures that, you know, around the country who would put any kind of political currency into helping pedophiles.
No, exactly right. And like he tried to get his decision overturned, he kept appealing it and all that kind of thing. We know that's never going to happen. And to be fair, even he wouldn't try that. So RSO status is going nowhere. So we don't even have to bring that up. But probation, if he gets taken off that, what is the main advantage to Lorne? What will?
It's huge. It's huge. He'll be able to travel out of state, first of all. He won't have to go to this class every week and travel 2 hours round trip every week. He won't have to report to probation. He won't. All the conditions don't apply to him anymore. Everything that's there. He's a free man. Now he has his constitutional rights back.
So
He can drink.
Right, so he'd have pretty much a normal life except from the RSO status. Now, the RSO status, as I understand it, all he has to do is, you know, he obviously gets known as a RSO.
Right.
He's on file. He has to declare it.
Register and report. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
That's it.
still isn't. If he moves, is that
Well,
condition
a lot of
still?
states are. There's another case like that I know about. Whereas if you are, I don't know if every state is the same, or if I can't even remember if this is a federal one or not. But if you're planning on staying there longer than 5 days, and either way, you still have to report into the local police station. They have a system where they do that. You know, they just report and they just send them to this room or something where they have to sit down until they're acknowledged, and then they're off to do their own thing as long as they report. So there's a lot of restrictions.
Yeah. So it'll be huge for Lorne, won't it? It'll probably be the greatest thing that's happened to him since he left prison. Apart from getting it on with the porn star, he was beautiful, but etc. But you know, realistic, you know, in real terms, that would be the best thing that's happened to him since he was released. Do you know what I find hilarious? I was thinking about this earlier. And of course, we all know this, but if you think about it, he's like a dog trying to devour his own tail. It's like he's trying to desperately get off probation. And, if he'd have just completely cooperated from day one and just do what he was told and gone with it and just acted with a minimal of integrity, he might have had a case. He might have been able to do something, but the fact that he's failing sex offender class, he's been back to prison, he makes silly claims, he's been out of work for probation, he's kind of shot himself in the foot, hasn't he?
He wouldn't have access to any kind of mental health treatment either. That would be a concern for them. But
yeah, but he doesn't seek that anyway, does he?
Well, he has to go, but he doesn't take advantage of it, that's for sure. But I don't know. The getting off probation would go a long way for him. But the RSO thing, that's just a brand that's gonna, it's notification to society that he exists, and that's the last thing he wants.
So do we think this has still got something to do with moving to Canada, potentially?
Well, if maybe that'll be in his upcoming motion, right? If he gets that lawyer appointed.
Yeah, well,
we don't know.
Shall we move to the next document then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Oh, hang on. Order on motion to appoint counsel. So, do you want to go over that, Shin?
Yeah, this is actually signed by a magistrate. Can we go? Okay, this matters before the court on defendant's motion to appoint counsel. Defendant seeks the appointment of counsel to assist in reviewing the status of his supervised release. Counsel is not automatically or routinely appointed to represent a defendant on a post-conviction matter. To the contrary, in the context of a habeas proceedings, pursuant to 28, the First Circuit describes as rare the situation in which the appointment of counsel on a 2255 motion is appropriate. Here, there is no matter currently pending for which defendant might require counsel. Without a pending matter, the court cannot determine that the appointment of counsel is appropriate. Among other things, the court has no record from which to assess the likelihood that the defendant would prevail on a constitutional claim, which is a factor the court must consider when determining if the appointment of counsel is warranted. That's pretty much it. The court therefore denies the motion without prejudice to the defendant's ability to renew, without prejudice. He's going to hang on to that one, Tiffany, I guarantee it. To defendant's ability to renew the request in the event he files a motion for some type of post-judgment relief. In other words, you can't just ask for a status. In other words, if they're imposing another modification on you and you consider that to be a violation, yeah, you'd get of your constitutional rights and you make a constitutional claim out of it. Yeah, you would get appointed counsel in that situation. But right now, everything's going honky-dory for you, other than the fact that you want to get out of this thing. So that's everyone's gripe.
Right. A lot of that was double Dutch to me. So could you explain what each of the points specifically means? Now, we know the gist of it. In very crude English terms,
they're saying that
the
biggest thing is that the court is saying the First Circuit says it's a rare situation where appointment of counsel on a 2255 motion is appropriate. In other words, he's trying to get 225. I think 225. Clay, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that for termination or modification? I'm not sure what that is. But in any event, he can get his own counsel. He could do this privately if he wanted to.
Yeah, but he
can challenge it.
That.
Of
he
course,
would have to pay for it.
He's not going to do that.
He could do this, but he can't keep wasting taxpayers' dollars when there's no issue before the court.
He's been doing that all his life.
Well, it ends now, and I think this is really the first time he got slapped down. And I was really surprised he was able to just get counsel appointed for as he calls it, to review the status of his supervised release. I thought that was so ambiguous, but he got it.
You mean the last time?
Yeah. I mean, what was the issue? He just wanted to review the status, right?
I don't recall. Well, there was a letter that was posted the last time, but we were not able to see it.
Okay.
So I don't know what it said. It could have been something as simple as this, but yeah, I'm not sure everything that he included. It probably was as simple as that. But it had been some time, it had been a couple of years.
Yeah. So,
Clay's just
Lorne, you're on your own.
Dude, 2255 is attacking the sentence, Clay's just said.
The sentence. Okay.
Which
that's
makes
one of the
total sense in this case.
Yeah, that's the only
he's been
appeal
doing
he
that
had
the whole time.
available.
Right.
That's the only appeal he did not waive at his plea agreement.
Right, I'm a bit confused,
Correct.
right? How can he use, right, you have to explain this to me in in baby motions here, but you know what I mean. I don't know why that came out, but
Like a 3-year-old. Okay.
yeah, basically, just imagine I'm Lorne, right? So, well, not Lorne, but somebody like Lorne, Lorne actually, because he needs this explaining to him. But the 2255 motion is attacking the sentence. So he's saying that the sentence is inappropriate. Does he mean the actual conviction, or does he mean our association?
No.
I don't understand.
No, that there's a difference, and I can't remember what that's. I think it's 3533 or something like that. That's a straight appeal on a conviction, and that's where you attack the evidence and everything else. He waived all that stuff by pleading out.
Yeah, but he still
But the only thing that
overturn
remains
that in the lawsuit.
Well, the only thing that let me just quickly finish. The only thing that remains on that is ineffective assistance of counsel. That's the only one that he has. That's the only exception. Other than that, he waives it. The only thing he can appeal now, or try to appeal, in this case, he's going for the trial judge first, is the sentence. In this case, it's his probation sentence. It's his conditions, no doubt. It's the fact that he's on lifetime supervised.
Right. Okay. But there's no grounds for attacking that, is there? Surely.
It's pretty much what the court said.
So why does he? I don't listen. Maybe I'm trying to apply logic where there isn't any. I'm trying to rationalize, so to speak, the actions of what might seem a completely irrational human. But what on earth is he trying to do? I mean, this is the guy that tried suing NBC for 80 million. So maybe I'm just explaining. Maybe I've just answered my own question. Is the method in his madness is what I'm getting at.
So you're asking, why is he doing this?
Yeah, I don't understand what he thinks he's going to get out of it. I don't understand what is it just a desperate sort of Hail Mary? Is that what it is?
Well, he wants to get off of probation. He doesn't think that it's right. And because he didn't waive that at his sentence or his plea agreement, they didn't say that, you're going to get sentenced. This is what it's going to be, and you can never appeal it. That's what he's doing now. And of course, he's always going to have a problem with that because it's a huge stick up his ass. He's not able to do all of the things that he wants to do.
Yeah, Lorne looks at the appeal process as the trial level. Like he's arguing all his evidence in his appeal briefs, and that's something that the appeal court didn't even. I mean, the trial court never got to because he pled out. So he thinks he could use the appeals court to try his case.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. That's exactly right. He does talk about the evidence.
Yeah.
That's there. That's why it's so funny.
Have you seen what Clay said about, if you look at Clay's last comment, Shin, just have a read of it.
Yeah, I think you could do, well, if you find new evidence, Clay, I guess, there's always that
Turn your bloody
exception.
notifications off, dude.
What's that?
Nothing, just pinging.
Clay, I was actually writing an answer to that, Clay. I think it's like anything else. Newly discovered evidence is always an exception. I don't know what that can do with a sentencing issue, but Yeah, and I guess every time you make a motion to modify or to terminate, that is essentially a 2255 motion, right? You're attacking the sentence. So anyway, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. That's just my reasoning.
So there is no. It's just a desperate, foolhardy attempt with no logical structure. I don't know why I'm going over this, but I do have to try and understand it to some degree. There's no chance that this is going to succeed. It's just the actions of a desperate man, isn't it? It's like, like you said, Tiffany, he's never going to accept that this is his fate. He's never really going to accept that maybe this is the right course of action, sorry, the right sanctions, if you will, in place for somebody like him, because he's not as the, he's not the person that the judicial system says he is, or the state, or whatever. So of course he's not going to go, well, yeah, actually I should be. I think he did in a call once say, of course aerosol status is right. I'm sure there was a but and a mitigation in there somewhere, wasn't there? Do you remember? Was that a call with you?
I don't know that it was. I can't recall it at the time. But absolutely. Yeah. He will have a caveat to that. You know, it's kind of like when he was talking to Ramona and she was saying, you're a sex offender. He's like, I'm not a sex offender. Well, I have to register as one. You know, he thinks he's very, very different. So when you talk about, okay, like what does a predator mean? What does a sex offender mean? What are all of the other people in his class? How would you characterize them? You would probably say a lot of really horrible things. And even he would say those things, but he doesn't believe that it applies to him. So he's always going to be doing this. It's going to come up again. This is definitely not the last time. And it would be interesting if he did it again in another 6 months. But I think what the judge was saying last time when Judge Woodcock wrote up his order was stating, you know, it's not impossible for you to get off of this, but you've got to demonstrate, you know, that things have changed. Because what happened here was really, you know, it's a big deal. It wasn't just a small thing. And based on the conduct that's been happening so far, you know, there's no reason to remove you from this. So essentially what's being said there is, listen, put your head down, go to work, do the right thing, stay out of everyone's way, go with the program. And I think that if he would do that and he would approach the judge 5 years from now, he possibly could be removed.
There's no way. Here's the problem. I can't recall ever hearing about a probation case where the offender was awarded termination against probation's recommendations. He's got to get probation. If he wants to get off, the proper way of doing this, the best way of doing this, is the path of least resistance. He's got to do, like you said, Tiffany, he's got to go through the motions of what he's got to do. He's got to please them as much as he can, and he's got to get them to stipulate with him to get off termination. I mean, to get off probation. That's his only way. As long as he's locking horns with these guys and all their experts and all their medical personnel and all these records about him, you know, he's Don Quixote. You know, he's fighting windmills. He'll never win. He's got to get, but he refuses to work with them. He considers them his mortal enemy.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It makes no sense. This is a desperate plea of a desperate man, and understandably so. You know, nobody wants to be in his position, but yet he won't do the easiest thing. You know, the most obvious thing is to cooperate, but yet he'll waste his time with this.
Yeah, he's been fighting it from the very beginning. He's always been very angry about his sentence because it's a huge inconvenience. It's embarrassing. And it gets in the way of him doing a lot of things, like even simply being on the internet. He can't do that. He can't go to a bar and drink. and meet people. You know, it's such a massive,
Oh yeah, that's huge. Andrew, you
yeah.
asked what difference would it make us? He'd be drinking again. That would be
Do you know what
huge.
though? I was going to bring this up. There was a call where Jamie, I can't remember which call it was. I'm sure one of the connoisseurs in the chat will know, but Jamie was talking about drinking. I'm going to get drunk, the robot said. And then Lorne was like, no, you are not drinking. I got off drinking. It was great, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do that anymore. Now, of course, we'll probably talk about this in detail for another time. Just got the impression that he was happy he wasn't drinking anymore. But anyway, that's got legs for another stream. So the point is, sorry to sort of go off on one there, but Shin, are you saying that you believe that he immediately go in a bar?
No,
Right.
he'd get an 18 pack and
Right.
go home.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not. Feel free to disagree, and you might be quite right to do that. Anybody in the chat and my two friends here, but I'm not too sure he would get drunk immediately. I think that he probably would at some point.
He'd be over Elton's house
He
celebrating.
sounded like he was better for not drinking. He'd almost appreciated the position he was in. He'd like turned the corner a little bit.
All right, let Tiffany break the tie. Do you buy that?
I don't.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, the only reason why is because I think you are correct though that he's not just going to get drunk. I don't think that would be the first thing that he would do. I think that it would start small.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When times got difficult, he'd go.
Oh yeah, I
like he did
don't
with the
see how it
cigarette.
gets there. In a week, he'd be full blown again. Okay, start small the first day, maybe the second day, but that would be it. It'd be over.
He would, yeah, because I think that he would be telling himself that he can control it. And it's like a lot of things, you know, where he thinks he can just be like, oh, I can have one beer and be fine. But he has a 6-pack in the refrigerator. So maybe that would work like the first or second night. It's possible that he could do that. Right. But then it's going to be burning, you know, in his mind that it's in there, and then it's going to just escalate from there.
He strikes me as the kind of guy that cannot fathom the idea of knowing there's beer in his refrigerator and not drinking it at all. You know, I don't think he'd leave it for another time. You know, I don't think he would ever do that.
Well, I don't think, because he hasn't had anything to drink for a few years. So I don't think that he can certainly drink like he used to. And I don't think that he could just automatically, you know, go and buy a 6-pack and drink it in one sitting. I just don't think he'd be able to.
No, he'll probably pass out, but he'll build his tolerance. Don't worry.
Definitely. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's definitely going to start. And, you know, he is lonely. We know that about him. He doesn't have Tony anymore. You know, I don't know what his friendship is like with Alton at this point, but he doesn't have, you know, anybody. But he was drinking a lot by himself too before, not even just at Tony's house.
I say more than by himself than anywhere else.
Sure.
But would he go to a bar once he's off? I mean,
I think he would eventually.
Socializing.
I think eventually. I mean, I think that it would be scary the first time. I think it would go back to, remember when he was talking about when he got out of prison and went back to Maine, that he didn't want to go anywhere because he thought everybody knew, you know, what was going on. So being in such a small community, you know, I think that may be difficult, you know, for him to do. But I think a lot of that as well has to do with probation. I remember him talking about working at RC Moore, and he was being asked, like, why don't you talk to people there? You know, the other people that you work with. And he really struggles with that because he doesn't want to have to explain, and he would be forced to. Not that they don't already know, because I'm sure that spread through like wildfire. But it's difficult for him to explain, and he can't really socialize because what if they have a family? Then he's going to have to tell them, and that he can't be, come over to their homes or anything like that. So I know I'm sure, very, very embarrassing for people to find out. And I think that's why he has stuck around, the Lornography community. Yeah, the catfish, it's been very, very easy for him because everybody already knows. He does not have to explain that. The worst that he has to do is to talk about it, which of course he doesn't want to, but he gets pushed into that. But that's the last thing. So
the worst about him and you love him, that's where
sure, absolutely. You're still here. You know that I've already done it. You're still talking to me. So he doesn't have to have that scary moment of disclosing that and then somebody hangs up or they don't ever talk to him again.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, it's starting to make sense now, right?
Yeah. So he will definitely be drinking again. He'll be on the internet too. Internet and drinking.
Oh no! I mean, that's not a good combination for Lorne, is it? Shall we be honest? Right? Here's some good things to ponder on. Right? Let's just say by one of our crazy quantum leap moments that there's some kind of error in the space-time continuum and his probation is taken off. He's still an RSO, but he can go online and he can drink. What would he do?
Be talking to Winnie.
Country music chat rooms?
If he can find something like that, absolutely. Yeah.
Even though the internet is his arch nemesis, because don't forget, if you listen to, I believe it is Lornography in July Part 9, Lorne cries on numerous occasions, says, I fucking hate the internet. I fucking hate it. But that's because it's always got the better of him. So do we think, I mean, this is all hypothetical, but it's good fun to ponder on. Would he, given the, would he try and use the internet again for his own, would he go on there? Would he go in a country music room? Would he try and seduce an underage girl again?
What's the modern day equivalent of Yahoo chat rooms?
I have no idea. I mean, I know that they have those. Well, they have other sites that the guys on Hanson versus Predator were on. There was Kick, I think, was one. Whispers, another one. If he knew how to get there, I think that he would try.
I don't think he would because I think he's too afraid. I think he would be too. I think, like, you got to remember, like, NBC days, he had no idea about any of this. Now, I just think he'd be too afraid. I think if he thought he could get away with it, he would, of course. But I don't personally think he'd go down that road.
You talk about going after kids again? I don't think he'd ever do. He wouldn't leave a trail like that. Yeah.
No, but he would go. He would go to those types of sites if he could find them.
Or he'd be what NWAW Skeptic says. He'd be an OnlyFans addict. What was that guy's name? Gus Amato, whatever his name is.
Grant Amato. Yeah.
Grant Amato. He'd be
on that
emptying everybody's bank account.
OnlyFans if she's got an OnlyFans for kids or something, The girl in the picture trying to find her OnlyFans. Oh, don't let your brain go down that road. It's not a nice place to go. But
I just want to point something out from the chat real quick before we get lost. Gorilla Face Gwen said, I joined Facebook groups and post Lorne and what and who he is. They get 100 comments and 80 shares easily. I do it at least once a week. Everyone around Cornville knows.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's just no escape for that guy, is there?
No, there isn't. And I know that his photo is up at the town hall or whatever they use as a town hall. I thought that it was interesting when you guys went there that the person at the bar didn't know who he was, or at least
none of them did, right?
Yeah, that was Skowhegan where we went asking about him. That was quite.
That was Canaan. No,
it was Skowhegan, the pub. You didn't come because you were asleep. The rest of us.
I was in Canaan. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I had a house that I put $60,000 in, and then I sold for $8,000.
You poor thing.
You lost a lot of money on that, you idiot.
You sure did. They said also local Skowhegan groups too. So I mean, if there was any chance, there's
Yeah.
going to be somebody in there who's going to know him, even if it's not everyone.
He's having a yard sale. I mean, not him. I don't know if it's him, but they announced the yard sale this year in May. And I guess he didn't do it last year, right?
No, I don't think he's ever going to do it again.
How can he do it? Where would he put stuff? His lawn looks like a carpet bomb.
Right, exactly.
Where
Yeah, I mean, that aside, I mean, I know you couldn't go to that particular property. But I know he's had yard sales over at his Uncle Clay's house when his uncle was having it, but I don't think that that's on the same stretch.
Yeah, but that would
It's not
require Uncle
included in
Clay
that.
having to store all his shit.
Well, he'd
Uncle
have
Clay
to
would
bring
do
it over there with him. Yeah, I mean, that's the only option, I think. I don't think that there's an option for him to actually have it like he used to.
Yeah.
Which then is also funny too, because he has so much stuff gathered for that particular reason.
Yeah. I have a darker question that came up in the comments. I can't find it now. The question was, where is he going to expose himself in that situation? Would he do that online? He has to, that he's got that
Only in a
irresistible impulse.
private relationship. He's not going to start sending his photo across like.
He's not going to have one of those.
Rooms, is he?
We're talking about him having his freedom again, right? And he's walking on eggshells if he wants to keep it, right? So he gets to drink again. He gets to get on the internet again. Now he's itching to show his dick somewhere. Where's he going to do it?
I'll tell you exactly what would happen if Lorne was drinking and he would go on the internet. He'd be getting scammed left, right, and centre. Not necessarily from us or catfishes. It'd just be one scam after another. He is the perfect target. Perfect as in he'd fall for it. Perfect, not necessarily with regard to what he's got to offer financially.
He's on the scammers. Don't scam this guy list.
He won't stop calling.
He's got nothing.
He won't stop sending us stupid poems. Block him.
Yes.
But seriously though, he'd be getting scammed left, right, and centre, wouldn't he, Tiffany?
Yes, definitely. He definitely would. Yeah. And I think as far as him going back to his old behavior, the way that I think of it is if you've been in a close call, as far as getting into a car accident, for example, and you may be like, wow, I was following too close, or I was going too fast, or I wasn't paying attention. That's going to stick with you for a little bit. Maybe you're going to be hyper focused. You're not going to have your phone. You're going to turn off the radio. You're really going to pay attention and drive slow and carefully. But eventually you're going to start to not be as not as careful because you're going to go back to your regular pattern. It's just going to take a little bit of a time because you're not going to be scared anymore. You're not going to have that same shock that maybe you had initially. So the fact that he is going to be drinking, we've already established that. I think that is definitely going to happen. That's going to lower his inhibition as well. And he's going to start feeling like, oh, I want to talk to people. Lorne, even though he's shy, he's a social person. He wants to be on the phone all the time. Yeah. And so I think that he'll start looking around to see if there's anything available, like the Yahoo chat rooms. I mean, no, absolutely. Yes. That is all going to go with it. So he may not put himself out there, especially right away, under his real name. He'll do some kind of he'll be Roscoe instead or something. He's gonna do something to hide his identity a little bit, like he tried to do with eBay. Now that didn't work, but he did try.
Yeah, I think he'd be so sexually repressed, it would just drive him crazy. I think he'll do something like he'll end up doing something stupid inside his car in a Walmart parking lot. One of those guys.
I think it's more of an emotional need that Lorne displays more than anything. I'm not saying that he's clearly perverted, But
I agree with that.
he's in his mid-50s now, and strangely enough, I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was about sort of sexual health, not because I'm lacking in that department. It just happened to be the next episode of The Diary of a CEO, just in case anybody wanted to take the piss.
A little bit too much protesting.
Yeah, well, I do get some shit in them comments sometimes, so I've got to fucking fight my case before I start. But anyway, it was talking about like libido and how much it depends on your health, your testosterone levels, if you're overweight, emotional well-being, depression. It can really sort of, especially when you get to that age, if you're not in a good state, that kind of drive is not necessarily going to be as prevalent as what it was a number of years ago. That's not, like I said,
I didn't mean it like a normal sexual drive that he has. First of all, he's always
he doesn't have
flaccid.
a normal sexual drive, does he?
Yeah, to me, it's whatever it is that turns on a flasher by getting the shock value out of it, by getting that turned on, by making up his own delusions about what he thinks they're seeing and how much they admire him. Whatever all this shit is, that's what he needs. The accolades, and just to show his dick. Now, I don't necessarily mean that's a sexual urge. I guess I misspoke a little bit, but that's just part of what he needs to do. All rapists, aren't all potent, aren't all able to rape. He's that guy. That wherever that urge comes from, that's what he would do, and he'd express it some way. And I think it would be singular. It would be just him, obviously, but I think it would be in a public setting or something like that.
Well,
And,
I think
he'd fuck up.
we've not addressed the elephant in the room, so to speak. What is he specifically like? What is this related to? Like, there was all that stuff about him claiming he was a father. We've never got to the bottom of that. There's the Canada thing rumbling on in the background, and of course, this could all be related. Is this the reason he's doing it? There's, I suppose there's. It seems to me there's a specific reason rather than he's just pissed off with it. Like there's something he really wants to do.
I mean, there could be. Certainly in the letter, he didn't spell that out. I think that would have helped him if he did have something specific that had changed significantly since the last time. That was going to make a difference. Certainly, just like Shin said, you have to have probation on your side in order to go forward with something like this, because the judge is going to follow what probation said. And they even said that in their response as well. They were following the lead of what they were saying.
Well, let me correct that real quick, because sometimes I guess you could go against probation, but typically you're going with the medicals that follow you, that support your case, and it's a battle between your medicals and their medicals, that kind of thing. If the issue is strictly that,
Yes.
not his behavior and all that other stuff. So there is a way where probation will say, let's let the judge decide.
Correct.
Where you're not necessarily going against them, but they're opposing it based on their own medical expertise. And they'll stand behind that, and you have your own, and let the judge make the call. And a judge is going to come down on their side, I think. Always there on the side. So.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a specific reason. Certainly, like I said, it would have helped him, I think, if he were to state that, at least as far as saying, okay, you got an attorney, let's see what this is about. But I think it also could be, just like I said at the beginning, that this could be just him saying, are we there yet?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's been 6
no more
months.
complicated
Hello.
than that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be complicated. The stupidest solution is usually the correct solution when it comes to Lorne.
Yeah, and also, if you think about it, is this thing that he's been fighting ever since the first day of his conviction, really, right after the moment he pled guilty, he's really gone, he's really changed his mind right after that. But like, it's really, if you think about it, what else has he got to fight for?
Mm-hmm.
What else has he got other than because his whole essence is this victim mentality. If he doesn't fight his corner and say, I was wrongly convicted, I was messed up at the time, yada yada. What else is he going to do?
The other side of it is, somebody mentioned this in the comments. It was a great comment. Lorne doesn't respect his freedom. You know, we all, you know,
What do you mean
he
by
takes
that?
it for granted, but I don't think he requires his freedom the way he lives his life. You know, let's put it that way. You know, he's not a big traveler or anything like that. So when freedoms get taken away from him, I don't think he notices it. It doesn't make a difference to him. You know, he's always restricted in somehow. Never lived on his own, except for Nashville. We love that.
And do we race
But
get to just say,
but he's never. I don't want to say even appreciated his freedom. I don't think he's ever been aware of his freedom that he's lost. I mean, that's how stupid he is, to me.
NWS.
Well, I just got sidetracked by the stream here. Was Lorne in here? Somebody was saying something about.
No. Why would you even say that?
Oh, it would be fun. Oh, I was
What?
excited. I'm not upset. Somebody deleted somebody. I didn't know if that was him. And then there were comments
No.
after that. Okay. I missed it.
Relax, your hero's not here, Shen. You got
I'm a
starstruck.
retard, according to him.
He wants him to be listening.
That is true. That is true. You guys could actually connect.
Oh, well, I only speak for an audience of one anyway.
Yeah.
Lorne.
We're going to have to wrap up soon. It's getting late here. This is a later stream than we usually do. And I'm just going to try to repeat finally what Andy Weir Skeptic said. And said, don't do what Lorne don't does. They could have made this clearer. That was a Simpsons reference. Only a select few of us would know that. I believe it was the camping episode where Bart's trying to learn about how to use a knife, like, because they're going on a camping trip. It's fucking great, that episode.
Had to be there.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry about that. Let's just, I mean, the thing is, we could have gone on about this, because to be honest, this opens up a lot of other facets within the kind of, because it's like, we're talking about what is he up to right now, which we don't know. There's something going on. This father thing. Right, he claimed he was a father, very briefly before we go. He claimed he was a father in the documentation a while ago. We've never got to the bottom of it. So he either believes it, he's lying, or he's being catfished, which, you know, and some of them relate to each other. But it's kind
There's no indication in this.
It's intriguing, but no, there's no indication at all. He's not said anything, but it's like, why, even for him to say this at this point seems a stretch to me. I know that might sound nuts because maybe I'm giving him common sense, which he doesn't have, but it just seemed like a massive just Hail Mary, like, yeah, just take me off probation, please, even though I've not been able to fucking pass sex offenders class after 7 years, etc., etc.
Again, I think it's more simple than that. I agree. I think, if I remember what you said, Tiffany, I think he thinks this is the way it's run. This is how it happens. He's got encouraged to do it again from last time when Woodcock said, go ahead and file another one, you know, in 5 years. I think he said 5 years too. And I think I think at his hearing that we went to, he tried to get off probation at his surrender hearing, at his violation hearing. Right?
Yeah.
And so even Judge Woodcock said then, while he was giving him a sentence for a violation of it, you know, I'd like to see you get off in 5 or 10 years, you know, something like that. That's the kind of shit that he remembers. And that's why he does this.
Of course.
So I think if anything, I think he might have finally got smacked in the face with reality. And this, he always thought that he could just pull the trigger whenever he wants to try to challenge the system. Now he can't even do that. And he's got to
he's going to be back though.
He's got to settle with his own life.
What did you say, Shen?
He's got to settle in. I think the idea that this is going to be a lifetime for him, I think it might be starting to sink in.
I don't think so.
This kind of thing.
No.
I think like that.
Neither do I.
Well, how is he going to challenge the system?
I don't think so either.
He's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep writing letters.
borrow money and get a lawyer. That's what he's going to
Of
do.
course, he's going to do, yeah, he's just going to think of a different way, which
And
is always going to lend to, I've got to get a lawyer. He's got to have money to do that. He's
got to
tried
get
that
a
before
shrink.
and it backfired. Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything is going to backfire, but he's not going to give up.
Well,
Not,
yeah.
it's not going to hit reality for him and say, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore.
No, I never said that. I never said that. I think what I'm saying is the futility of his situation might be coming to him. You know, he might realize that, you know, before, when he asked for a lawyer, they just gave it to him. He ended up in court, put on a big show, got some what he thought was kind words from the judge, and he'd come back and keep doing it again. Now he can't even do that. He can't even get to the principal's office anymore.
No, that's true. But it's
got to be somewhat disheartening for him. It's got to be.
No, he's just going to be mad about it.
I'd
That's all.
say it's the opposite of disheartening. I think that when he gets rejected, he just feels his victim mentality even more and makes him feel more. That's like it fulfills a need for him, I think. Because what has he got if he hasn't got that?
Well, he's going to keep. That's what keeps him also fighting, though. I mean, I know what you're saying, but he's going to keep fighting this until the very end. He doesn't think that this is right. What do you mean with what?
With what? Keep giving keep sending the court motions for a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, that's his. Is that the most he'll do? Okay, all right.
Well, I don't know if that's the most he'll do. Well, what do you mean? Like, okay, what do you mean?
Well, that's just all that's doing is ringing the doorbell. That's all. He can't get in the door. I mean, he'll keep sending the motions. He'll keep sending something back.
He didn't get in the door this time. That doesn't mean
I see what you're saying.
Wait another year.
Yes, that doesn't mean next time, because remember what Judge said last time? 5 years, 10 years. I want to see you off this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also this wasn't Judge Woodcock that wrote the order.
Right. It was his magistrate. Correct.
Right. Yeah. So he would like to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
Right, and on that note, we're gonna have to wrap it up because it was a bit like last minute kind of thing, this, and it was just kind of in spur of this new equipment I've got and whatnot. And of course, there is new. We're looking for talking about new lawn sort of news. We're looking, we're hunting for scraps, little. But saying that though, it's kind of like when there's documents that are sent to the court and that, it's kind of big news in the lawn world because something's going on, isn't it? We want to know he's up to something, don't we? We want to what's his scheme now? What's changing his life? Is he moving to Canada? Is he getting catfished? Everybody wants to know what's going on.
Does he live there? Does he still live there at that?
Well, yeah, we want to know everything, don't we? It's like I'm totally not.
Can he live there?
Opposed to hiring a private investigator or just flying out there myself and seeing what's going on. I mean, I'd sooner you do it, dude, because you do live around the fucking corner.
Dude, look real quick on the envelope. What's his return address? Is it still the same? It has to be, because that's what his registered address is.
Is it? I don't know is the envelope on that?
Yeah, that was one of the attachments we had.
Oh, hang on, let me have a look. Oh, here we are. Fucking hell, his handwriting's not very neat.
That's what I'm saying. He looked all frantic and shit. He looked.
Westbridge. Oh, I don't think I'm not allowed to say that.
That's okay, but
everybody knows it.
But that's his registered.
Knows it, but the fucking Yahoo police.
We don't know whether he lies his head there or not, but that's his registered address.
Yeah, he's still.
I don't know how he can.
Guys. Email me if you want.
How he could live in that trailer in the middle of winter, I have no idea.
So he's still there. As of the 10th of January, Mr. Armstrong is still at his registered address. So he's not gone anywhere. He hasn't sold it. Oh, he did try the business. He tried the junk moving business thing. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Someone just posted it in the chat. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, he did junk removal. What was the name of it? I can't even remember the name of it.
Rough men.
Rugged something. It was rugged.
Rugged men?
No, not rugged men.
Rugged men that hide in the woods.
Right. Yeah, and then he had his pallet business as well. So
Rugged
Rugged
debris removal. That's what it is.
removal.
Rugged.
Yeah.
And I still swear that's the genesis for him turning 388 north, whatever it is, into a junkyard. He's going to take all the debris that he removes and he's going to bring it back, and it's going to look like a junkyard.
I thought I already did
Mhm.
look like a junkyard. But, right, I'm going to have to go. Thank you to Shin and Tiffany for joining me on this fascinating look at two very small documents that tell us nothing that we don't already know, really. Basically,
Well,
summary,
I think
Lorne's
it
still
tells us
trying to get off
something.
probation. That's the gist of it. And the court
Yeah,
is quite rightly telling him to fuck off. So that's basically it in a
something.
nutshell.
Something's better than nothing.
Oh yeah, I mean, how long we going for? An hour, so it's and we've had more people in the chat than we have for the previous video, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
Clickbait.
all good. So it's all good. Right. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this little brief trip. We've still got. What is it we're gonna do? That we got. Oh, Lorne's joke book from prison. Shin messaged me about that
Yes.
in stitches. You even sent me a GIF for the first time. You've never sent me a GIF before. It was like of a guy laughing.
Yeah, I know.
so so
That was me.
yeah, GIF of himself. So yeah, we're gonna go over that. We've got the Casey emails. There's fucking loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff. As long as I've got sufficient time, these videos are not stopping anytime soon, unless.
It will outlive us.
And if this, yeah, it will. You're right. Okay, right. I'll have to get going. So, don't know what happened then. I thought I pressed the wrong button. Yeah. So thanks everybody. Don't know when we'll be back, but we will be doing something soon.